Okay, so today we're doing a deep dive into Isaiah chapter 49. It's quite a chapter.
Oh, absolutely. It really takes you on a journey. You've got this central figure, a lot of struggle, but then this huge expansion of vision.
And it lands on themes of, well, restoration, vindication,
Yeah,
all driven by God's faithfulness. It's powerful stuff.
definitely. And it kicks off right away with this really broad address, doesn't it?
Yeah, verses 1 to 4. The speaker isn't just talking to locals, it's, listen, O islands, hear this, you distant nations.
Straight away, this isn't just a small regional message. It's global from the get-go.
And the speaker, they talk about being called by the Lord before birth, even named from the womb.
That pre-birth calling, it really underlines a sense of deep purpose, destiny almost, set long before they even arrived on the scene.
And the way they describe being prepared,
Wow, like a sharpened sword?
hidden in God's hand, yeah, and a polished arrow kept safe in his quiver.
So powerful tools, a sword for truth, maybe. An arrow for precision. Could be. But notice they're hidden. Polished, prepared, yes, but also concealed. Protected by God.
Suggests a kind of private, divine equipping, not, public training. Ready, but waiting for the right moment.
Exactly. Intimate preparation. And then God identifies this figure. You are my servant Israel, in whom I will display my splendor.
Which is interesting, right? Because up to now, it sounds very much like one person's story.
It does. Called before birth, shaped like a weapon. Then suddenly, it's Israel.
So is it the whole nation? Or maybe an individual representing the nation's true calling?
It's a tension in the text itself, I think.
Yeah.
But whether it's collective or individual, the next part feels intensely personal. The servant reflects on their own experience.
And it's not exactly a success story, is it? It's brutally honest.
No, it's raw. I have labored to no purpose. I have spent my strength in vain and for nothing.
Oof. You just feel that crushing weight of disappointment. All that effort for what?
Yeah, anyone who's poured themselves into something, felt called to it even, and then felt like it just fizzled out. They'd recognize that feeling.
It's that moment of, did any of that even matter? You might feel that in your job, a project, striving for something, just feeling spent for nothing.
Absolutely. It's a deeply human moment of struggle, especially when you think you were meant to do it.
But the servant doesn't stay there in that despair.
No, there's a crucial pivot.
Fine.
Right after that, they say, yet what is due me is in the Lord's hand, and my reward is with my God.
That's key, isn't it? That shift.
It's huge. It shows this underlying trust that goes beyond the immediate visible results, or lack of results.
It's like saying, okay, it looks like failure now, but my ultimate value, my reward, that's held somewhere else. It's with God.
Exactly. It's a profound statement of faith right in the middle of feeling disillusioned.
Hmm.
Even when work feels wasted, the real worth is secure, divinely held.
Which perfectly sets up what happens next. Because God responds not with criticism, but with, well, an expansion.
Right. Verses 5 to 7, God basically says, yes, I formed you from the womb to bring Jacob back to gather Israel. He confirms the initial mission.
He affirms the servant, too, saying they're honored in the eyes of the Lord, and God is their strength.
But then comes the twist. God says that task, restoring Jacob and Israel, it's too small a thing.
Too small. Wait, the servant just felt they failed at that massive task, and now God says it's not even the main event.
It seems counterintuitive, yeah. But it signals God's plan was always bigger, much bigger. That initial mandate, as vital as it was, wasn't the end game.
And the bigger plan is?
I will also make you a light for the Gentiles, that you may bring my salvation to the ends of the earth. Boom.
Wow. So from focusing on one nation to the entire world, global salvation.
The scope just explodes outwards, doesn't it? It universalizes the whole mission. And tied to this bigger mission, God predicts a future for this servant that's just staggering.
Especially given how the servant felt and how they're described here, despised and abhorred by the nation, a servant of rulers.
Yeah, someone looked down on someone in a lowly position. Not exactly kingly material, you'd think.
But God says,
A complete reversal. Kings will see you and rise up. Princes will see and bow down. Earthly rulers showing deep respect.
from servant of rulers to rulers bowing to them. That's quite the turnaround.
And the reason given isn't the servant's own power climb. It's because of the Lord who is faithful, the Holy One of Israel who has chosen you.
So the vindication comes purely from God's faithfulness and choice.
Exactly. It totally reframes where real honor comes from. Not status or success as we usually measure it, but from being chosen and upheld by God.
It really makes you pause, doesn't it? Thinking about how maybe the hard times, the being overlooked. Maybe that's part of preparing for something bigger than you ever guessed.
And that the final validation might come entirely from God's faithfulness, not your own striving. It's a powerful thought.
And this flows right into the next section, verses 8 to 12, which spells out the results of this mission, this promised help.
Yeah, God reassures the servant, in the time of my favor I will answer you. In the day of salvation I will help you. That divine help is crucial for what comes next.
Because the servant's role is described as being a covenant for the people, and that means concrete actions.
Right, like restore the land, reassign its desolate inheritances. It's practical, bringing order and life back to ruined places.
And then that direct call, come out to the captives, be free to those in darkness.
Imagine hearing that, a direct command to freedom, and the description of the journey for those who answer. It's beautiful.
They'll find food by the roads, pasture on previously barren hills, no hunger, thirst, scorching heat.
It's a picture of total divine care and provision on the journey home.
He who has compassion on them will guide them, lead them beside springs of water. Just tender, careful guidance.
And the path itself gets transformed. Mountains become roads, highways are raised up. God is smoothing the way.
And the people coming back, they're from everywhere. Far away, north, west, and even specifically the region of Aswan.
Mentioning Aswan, a real place far to the south in Egypt. It just grounds the global scope of it all. This isn't symbolic. People are coming from real, distant places.
This whole part feels like such a powerful metaphor for anyone feeling stuck or lost, you know? That promise of not just release, but guidance and provision on the way back.
Absolutely. It offers this incredible hope of a guided journey towards restoration, maybe on paths you didn't think were possible.
Okay, so we've had this buildup. Cosmic joy called for, global mission, this amazing return journey. But then verses 13 to 21 take a bit of a turn. We hear from Zion.
Yeah, it starts high again, heavens, earth, mountains, all told to shout for joy because God is comforting his afflicted people. Sounds like victory.
But right on the heels of that, you get this lament from Zion. The Lord has forsaken me. The Lord has forgotten me.
Such a stark contrast. The very people being restored feel completely abandoned. It's so human, isn't it?
Yeah.
To focus on the current pain, the desolation you see now and feel forgotten, even with promises ringing in your ears.
And Grote's response, it's just breathtaking. He uses that mother-child analogy.
Can a mother forget the baby at her breast? The implied answer is, well, no, surely not.
But God goes even further. Though she may forget, I will not forget you. He says his faithfulness is more certain than even that fundamental bond.
It's incredibly moving. His memory, his commitment is presented as the ultimate bedrock reality. And then that image.
See, I've engraved you on the palms of my hands.
Engraved, permanent, always visible. Every time God looks at his hands, so to speak, Zion is there. Her walls, maybe her ruined state, her needs are ever before me. Constant attention.
It's such an intimate, vivid picture of not being forgotten, and then the visible signs start appearing.
Right. The sons are hurrying back, the destroyers are leaving, things are actually changing on the ground.
And Zion's told to look up, see them gathering. She'll wear them like jewels, like ornaments, like a bride.
From ruined and desolate to adorned. It's a total transformation. And the land itself, once laid waste, is now too small.
Too small for all the returning people, just overflowing.
Even the children born during the hard times, the bereavement, they add to the crowd needing space. And this sheer abundance, after emptiness, leads to Zion's confusion.
Yeah, she's bewildered. Who bore me these? I was barren. I was exiled. Who raised these? Where did they come from?
She just can't fathom it. The restoration is so much bigger than her experience of loss could ever anticipate.
This whole section just nails that tension, doesn't it? Between feeling utterly lost and forgotten in suffering and God's promise of a remembrance and restoration that's almost unbelievably abundant.
It really emphasizes God's deep commitment, even when our circumstances make it hard to see or feel. It challenges you, when you feel overlooked, to consider this radical picture of divine faithfulness.
And the chapter wraps up verses 22 to 26 by bringing back that global dimension and driving home the final vindication.
God signals to the nations, the Gentiles. He lifts a banner, drawing their attention.
And their role is just amazing. They actively help in the return, bringing Zion's sons in their arms, carrying the daughters on their shoulders.
Think about that. These other nations, not enemies, but helpers, gently carrying the people back.
And then it gets even more specific with rulers. Kings become foster fathers, queens become nursing mothers.
People of power taking on roles of humble service and care towards the recently desolate Zion.
And their posture, total reverence, bowing down, faces to the ground, licking the dust at Zion's feet. It's complete submission.
And the stated purpose of this dramatic scene is clear. Then you will know that I am the Lord. Those who hope in me will not be disappointed. It's undeniable proof of God's power and faithfulness.
The text even anticipates disbelief, posing that question. Can plunder be taken from warriors, captives rescued from the fierce? Basically, isn't this impossible?
It highlights the human perspective. Strong warriors don't give up loot. Fierce captors don't release prisoners easily.
But God's answer is immediate and emphatic. Yes, captives will be taken back. Plunder will be retrieved.
God declares he himself will intervene. I will contend with those who contend with you, and your children I will save. Direct divine action.
And the description of the fate of the oppressors is, well, it's intense, graphic even.
Make your oppressors eat their own flesh. They will be drunk on their own blood. It's a shocking image of self-destruction, the consequence of fighting against God's purposes.
And the ultimate point of this judgment.
Universal recognition that all mankind will know that I, the Lord, am your Savior, your Redeemer, the Mighty One of Jacob. It's a final global revelation of who God is.
So this ending really hammers home the reversal theme, the unexpected ways God brings deliverance, the humbling of the proud, rescuing the seemingly lost, and the certainty of divine justice.
Yeah, putting it all together from chapter 49, you get this incredible sweep.
You start with this one servant, called early, prepared secretly, feeling like their work was for nothing.
Who then learns their real purpose is way bigger, a light for the whole world, salvation to the ends of the earth.
Which leads to these amazing promises of freedom, a guide journey back home, overflowing provision.
But then you hit that real raw moment of Zion's doubt, feeling forgotten, which is met by God's incredibly tender, personal assurance, I've engraved you on my hands.
Followed by a restoration so huge it beggars belief, with nations and rulers unexpectedly helping.
And it all culminates in this final dramatic vindication, where God rescues the captives, judges the oppressors, and reveals himself to everyone as Savior and Redeemer.
It masterfully weaves together that initial call, the struggle, the expanded vision, God's unwavering faithfulness against all odds, and this powerful picture of restoration.
Key themes, really. Divine calling, wrestling with doubt, purpose growing beyond expectation, God remembering when you feel forgotten, and ultimately, powerful deliverance.
So maybe a final thought to leave you with. How does this vision from Isaiah 49, this journey from a servant feeling useless to becoming a global light, or from a desolate people feeling forgotten to being overwhelmed with abundance and served by kings, how did that challenge your own assumptions about power, about purpose, about where hope truly comes from, especially when things look bleak?